2022 St. Patrick's Day, folks. St. Patty's Day. Hope everybody stays safe. What is this? I think it's Wednesday, so it probably will be a lot safer. If it was on a Saturday, Sunday, it might get out of hand, right? So again, March 17, 2022, St. Patrick's Day. Let's do a live, right? Let's do a live. Let's talk about, I got some awesome places to talk about. I got nothing else to do today, folks. So we're going to talk about some great places in the state of Arizona. So I do this intro for everybody that's going to re-watch or re-listen later. So you know it's started, it's up, it's ready. We're ready to rock and roll here at the Arizona Timeless Tours. Let's hit the music one more time, and then we'll get started. We'll just hang around and wait for a few people to kind of join in. Someone told me to put a little bit more of a Western themed music to my channel. So hopefully I'm doing better right here. We're going to bring it down a little bit. We're going to start it out with I put a big intro of the TikTok videos that I do. I won't play them all because it's like 8.5 minutes long, but the TikTok's only like 33 seconds long. So we'll do a few, make sure that the sound, I'll go make sure that we're live on Facebook at the Arizona Timeless Tours, that we're live on YouTube at the Arizona Timeless Tours, and make sure that everything sounds right. Let's see here. Let's go into the chat. We got nobody in the chat. So, all right, let's start it out with a couple of TikTok videos. You don't follow me on TikTok, folks. We're at 167,000 strong on TikTok with over 60 million total views. So that's where we put our main focus at the Arizona Timeless Tours is to TikTok. So don't miss it. We do a lot of lives on TikTok. You don't want to miss it. We're still on Facebook, we're still on Instagram, we're still on YouTube, but our number one source is TikTok. So let's bring these videos up. Thanks everyone for joining in. It's Barley, I believe. Hello. Let's hit into some of these really quick here. Let's pop this up.
Did you know here at the Tucson train depot there is a statue of Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp? It actually marks the spot where Wyatt Earp killed Frank Stilwell on the 20th of March of 1882. Let's go check it out. All right, we're going to drive down this road right here to a pioneer cemetery where the first common law wife of Wyatt Earp is buried. Let's go check it out.
This is the final resting place of Larcena Pennington Page. She was abducted by Tano Apaches in 1860. Unable to keep up with her captives, she was stabbed 18 times and left for dead. She then crawled through the desert for more than 16 days before finding help and being rescued. The first thing she asked for was a chew of tobacco. On August 26, 1990, 78 years after the death of the first sheriff of Cochise County and one of Tombstone's most colorful pioneers, a marker was placed recognizing the final resting place of Sheriff John Behan. This is the final resting place of Johnny Ringo. It is still a mystery today. Did Johnny Ringo take his own life July 13th, 1882, or was he murdered? The town of Adamsville was founded by Charles S. Adams in 1866. By 1870, the town had 400 residents. Adamsville had a reputation as one of the wildest, toughest towns in the Arizona Territory. Charles Adams died in the Wickenburg Massacre in 1871. This is the grave of William Claiborne. He was shot and killed by buckskin Frank Leslie November 14, 1882. Claiborne's last words, Frank Leslie killed Johnny Ringo. I saw him do it. The Tewksbury-Graham feud was the bloodiest feud in U.S. history. It came to a violent end with the 1892 murder of Tom Graham, the last survivor of his family involved in the feud. He was ambushed by Edwin Tewksbury in Tempe, Arizona. This is the final resting place of Edwin Tewksbury.
I'm standing on a historical spot right here on the Crosscut Canal in Scottsdale, Arizona. On the 23rd of December, 1944, 25 German POWs escaped. Where did they come out of the tunnel at? They came out of the tunnel right here.
This bar is one of the oldest in the West, built in 1861. It was loaded onto a cargo ship to a boat ride around South America to the San Francisco Bay. It was then loaded onto a wagon pulled by 20 mule teams to Virginia City, Nevada. It stayed there during the Silver Boom. The bar was then sold to a saloon in Jerome during the 1880s. The bar is now located at the Pioneer Living History Museum. There it goes. Okay. I think we're back up and running here. I turned everything down because I thought that the video I was running was longer than what it was, but obviously I was wrong about that. I don't have all the lights on here in the little studio that I got, so if it's too dark, let me know. If you can't hear the sound really well, let me know. I've been out giving out these coins, these Arizona Timeless Tours coins. Man, have they been... These things have been working like I hoped they would. We have a new one. I'm not going to turn this one around, but the other one has the QR code for the TikTok channel and where to sign up for tours at the Arizona Timeless Tours. We've given out probably about 150 of the 1,000 that we have. So really, these things are working like a gem. So thanks to everybody. We had about 10 people come out to when I was going live at not Phoenix Sky Harbor, at Mesa Gateway, which is just 4.5 miles up the road here the other day. We had, I believe, a KC-130 loading up 2 Apache helicopters. Well, people loved that. We had 49,000 people, folks, 49,000 people on the TikTok live during that time. And 8 people drove out there to get one of these Arizona Timeless Tours coins and to say hello. That was pretty awesome. So if you do watch the YouTube, that was greatly appreciated. Again, we're on Facebook and YouTube at the Arizona Timeless Tours. That's where we go live all the time. At least once every 10 days, I try to get live. Yeah, so we got a lot going on. I haven't done a video like this in a while. So we're going to go through some places. You know, summer's coming. A lot of people think because the 100+ degree temperatures are coming that you got to stay indoors in the air conditioning. I'm absolutely love the summer. That's why I'm here in the beautiful state of Arizona. I love it when it's 110 degrees, 115, little excess, 115, a little hot. But any other time I have the trails all to myself. I have these historical sites all to myself because everybody's too scared to get out in the heat. And it is what it is. I love it. But let me give you a couple of places that you might have friends and family in from out of town. The first place we're going to stop by here is spring training because, yes, play ball. Everything has been reconciled and baseball is back in the valley in the state of Arizona, in the state of Florida. We have the Grapefruit League, and here in Arizona, we have the Cactus League. And I think it's a hidden gem. What do I think is a hidden gem about the Cactus League? I don't know how the Grapefruit League goes. I don't know how those teams out in Florida, but The great thing about Arizona is, they're spread out. You have the Oakland Athletics in Mesa, Arizona, and you have the Cleveland Indians and Cincinnati Reds in Goodyear. Okay, so that's about a 50 plus mile difference from one place to the next. But I've been told it's over 100 miles from certain locations in Florida from one spring training place to the next. So, and it's not always a 50-mile split. Normally from Gilbert, it's 19 miles to the Mesa off of Central Avenue where the Oakland Athletics practice. And I was there the other day. Let me tell you what the secret is, folks. So many people pay a lot of money just to go see the games. Yeah, that's a great, I don't have a hat on today, so that's what the normal thing is. But anyhow, so a lot of people pay now. I just been told today was the Cubs played their first game against the White Sox, I believe, at Sloan Park. So it's the Cubs home field. It was the price to sit your butt on the grass and bake in the sun today out in the field. Starting price for those tickets as of this morning was $50 a piece. Come on. $50. Now I remember when the Cubs were actually good and they beat the Indians in the World Series a couple years ago, and they had all the all-stars on the team, understood. But we're talking anywhere from $80 to $100 to sit in the stands. You don't even pay that at most Major League Baseball parks during the season. So what can you do? How can you see like people like the Chicago Cubs? How you as a family can go out there and enjoy the day if you're baseball people? Well, forget going to the games is what I tell people. First of all, you don't know if the players are going to be playing. Second of all, I think the starting pitching went for inning and a half today for the Cubs. And, it's a 7-inning ball game. It's 7 full innings. It's not at 9 innings in spring training. And most of your starters leave by the 3rd or the 4th inning. They're gone. So forget the autographs or anything like that at the end of the game. So what is the inside scoop if you're at the Cactus League here in Arizona in the next couple of weeks? Because spring training will officially stop around the 6th of April. And the 7th of April, we've got baseball being played for opening day. So go to the practices, folks. And I say this, some people will say, well, everybody knows that. No. I went out to the Oakland Athletics site. It was supposed to open at 9:30. I was out there at 9:15, and nobody was out there. I wasn't sure if I should go in or not. There were some signs posted, but the gate was opened. And I met some people who flew in from Oakland, and they flew in to see 2 or 3 spring training games, but those ones, the first 2 were canceled. And they were like, we thought we could come out here and check it out. I said, no, this is absolutely perfect. So we went inside. And you can watch those practices on, they have 4 fields out there. So you can watch the Oakland Athletics practice on all 4 fields for the absolute admission price of free, folks. It's free all across the valley. It's free to park. It's free to go in. So when the Cubs are practicing on their facility right by their ballpark, when the Indians, the Cincinnati Reds, the Chicago White Sox, the Seattle Mariners, the San Diego Padres, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants. I'm missing somebody here. Look, you can go any day of the week from 9:30 to 12:30. They're out there practicing on all of their, I left out the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies, duh. You can go out there and watch them practice. And you can get up close and personal. You want to talk about getting a foul ball or a baseball for the kid, or most adults want them for some reason. You'll get a foul ball. You'll get a home run. They do batting practice and they hit them over the fence. Most of the fences are like 360, 370, left field, right field, 400 straight ahead. If you have the kids stand on the other side of that when they're doing batting practice, you're going to come away with a couple of baseballs, especially out there at the Oakland Athletics site. Hold on one second. I need to fix one thing, folks. So, and then the players, they're running in and out of the field. So they're right where the fans are. They're running through the fans to get to the next practice field that's only like 30 yards away from the one that they came from. And look, if your kids play ball, the greatest thing is you can get free advice from a Major League Baseball coach. How can you do that? You just sit there and you listen. Hey, I was a catcher growing up. I was catcher for like 4 years in hot stove baseball, and I would have loved to be able to go for free and watch, say the Cleveland Indians. All right. And that's where I'm from, the great state of Ohio, born and raised, stayed there for about 20 years before I entered the military. But anyhow, you can go there as a catcher, as a young 13, 14-year-old, and listen to the catchers on the one field. There'll be 4 catchers, the coaches, and a couple of pitchers, and they'll do all of these drills with the catchers, and then they'll be teaching them. Yeah, even the ones that are phenomenal catchers in Major League Baseball, they're taught every spring training. Okay, they're being instructed, no matter what the name is on their back and how much money they're being paid. They're being instructed during whether it be on batting, whether it be on playing shortstop, first base, catcher, whatever it may be. They're being instructed, and you can sit there and you can listen to it. So if you're a mom or a dad, an aunt and an uncle who has family members who play baseball, you can listen to those tips and tricks from Major League Baseball people, absolutely free of charge for 3.5 hours. Take that home and use that for yourself. It's truly unbelievable. Or you're just a baseball fan. Somebody was like, I was doing a live. We had about 7,000 people on the live from TikTok the other day out to Oakland. We're not Oakland Athletics. Who cares if you're not Oakland Athletic fans? This is only 19 miles from where I live in the Gilberts, the closest spring training facility that there is. And it's not about the people that I love to watch. It's not my favorite team being out there, though they do train down here, but they train all the way out in Goodyear, Arizona, which is 55 miles from the house. 55 miles, 19 miles. And then I get to watch them and to prepare. Every team does the same thing. So get out there and check it out. Spring training, people, it just amazes me. There have been people who have traveled here, like the people from Oakland, for years to watch their team play a couple spring training games and paid $50 a pop. Not the stinking ticket prices that the Cubs are asking, but about $45 to $50 to sit in good seats, $25 to sit your butt on the lawn. And they come out here and they bake in that sun. They don't know their players who, the starters might play 2 or 3 innings and be gone. And it's only 7 innings, and you paid that money, and you paid the concessions, and you paid to get the memorabilia that you got out there, when you could go absolutely free every day, Monday through Sunday, from 9:30 in the morning till 12:30 in the afternoon, and catch them practicing up close and personal. You'll catch their conversations. I'll tell you what, out there at the Oakland Athletics one, they have a lot of covered places to sit. Now, the best one in the Valley to go to, and it's not because I'm a homer, it's just because for the last 10 years in a row, it's been like the number one. I think since the day it opened, Salt River Fields Complex is the number one spring training facility in all of spring training. Nobody comes close to Salt River. So you have the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks practicing. And that place is it's an absolute gem. It's totally different than any other one. Like Oakland Athletics is like a cement area. It's all cement. Out there at Salt River Fields with the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, it's beautiful. The Diamondbacks have more fields than anybody else. The grass is beautiful. The grass in between is beautiful. The paths are well done. It's absolutely phenomenal. And it's free. So say you go out there and you watch them from 9:30 to 12:30, and then they have a game at 1:15 at Salt River. Well, then you can go buy your $50 or $60 ticket and go sit in the sun and watch them there. But you're going to realize you saw the action for 3.5 hours absolutely free. That is a hidden gem, folks. Get it out to people. The people that came in from Oakland were amazed that they've been doing this for years, and they didn't realize that they could get into these facilities absolutely free of charge. There wasn't even no security out there. Only place I know that there's security, I think there is security out there with the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Diamondbacks and Rockies, but there were no security out there for the Oakland Athletics facility. So anyhow, it's it just is. And let me go over to the let me hide some of this stuff here. Let's go on to the graphics here. Like, how close can you get, Dean? How close can you get at spring training? Here's one of the pictures I took of myself watching. Look, I'm on this is where the players go in and out. Yeah, you can get that close to watching them bat and stuff like that. Now, you might get a ball to the old face, the old noggin. In my case, that might be good or bad. I don't know. But you can get that close to the action. I wanted to see if I have any other spring training pictures that I uploaded in here. I doubt it. Folks, get out there to spring training. If you love baseball, again, you're going to start getting into these stadiums to hold 35 to 50,000 people. You're away from everybody unless you pay the big money to sit down the first couple of seats. Most of us sit in the bleachers or down the right field or left field line. We don't want to pay over $100 to watch a baseball game, especially if we're taking the family. This is how close you can get at spring training. And you want an autograph, you got a lot better chance of getting an autograph here. I'm only saying that because I took a breath there because it sounds like my wife's yelling my name, but she knows I'm live, so she shouldn't be yelling my name. So anyhow, get out to spring training, pay the low prices of free to watch the guys. You can get autographs, you can get baseballs, you can talk to the guys. They're really, really nice, most of them. And you got a lot of shade to grab while you're out there. So check it out. Don't miss out on this part of spring training, folks. Sinuses are rolling on me today. Absolutely rolling. All right, let's get that off of there. All right. Let's swoop it around the horn here. Let's go to the chat. Make sure that we don't miss anybody in the chat. All right, back to the graphics. All right, let's talk about some places to visit. Okay, let's talk about one of my kind of favorite things to talk about, and that's this one right here. I got a couple of them I love to talk about, but let's talk about this one right here. What is this, Dean? This is a manhole cover like you would see anywhere as you're walking around, but this one's a little bit different. This one actually has the story of what happened here in this area on the manhole cover. This is on the Crosscut Canal in Scottsdale, Arizona. Most people have no clue. There's 1,000 to 2,000 people minimal a day walk by this manhole cover. And until I was out there filming for a YouTube video, people were like, what are you doing? Because I was laying down by it trying to get a thumbnail for YouTube. And I said, well, I said, have you ever looked at this manhole cover? And they're like, well, no, we walk by here at least twice a day on our morning and evening walks. This is the very spot, folks, where on December 23rd, 1944, 25 German POWs escaped Camp Papago. It was the largest prisoner escape on American soil during World War II, and we had over 700 POW camps in the United States during World War II. A lot of people don't know that either. A lot of over a couple hundred out camps where they would set up tents and they would do local work. But over 700 POW, Italian and German POW camps in America. This one at Papago Park, because Papago Park was a POW camp, this was the largest POW escape on American soil, the 23rd of December of 1944. They put this manhole cover, they capped off the tunnel. That's the end of the tunnel. The POWs, the 25 Germans, they dug a 178-foot tunnel from the compound, that's where all the houses are there on the corner, out to this area. And within 28 days, because this is always asked, within 28 days, all 25 German POWs were brought back. Most of them thought, you know what, it's cold. It's the escape route to Mexico. And then you have the 3 crazy boatmen that thought that they could, float down the Salt River. So they made this makeshift raft and drug it through this 178-foot tiny little tunnel, and then finding out that the Salt River had 0 water in it. So by Christmas Day, they were turning themselves in and to the local authorities to bring them back to Camp Papago. But 28 days later, all 25 German POWs were brought back to the camp. So you have the largest prisoner of war escape in U.S. history right here. It marks it right on the Crosscut Canal. You can see it today. And then the whole story is written right there. It is, it's pretty amazing. It truly is pretty amazing. All right, so let's see what else we got. Alrighty. Another favorite spot of mine right here. Titan Missile Museum. The Titan Missile Museum. Okay. I believe that there were 24 Titan missile locations from 1963 to 1987. Think about that, all the way to 1987 before they closed the last one. All across America, mostly here in the Southwest, were these Titan missile museums. This one is the only one of its kind, about 20 miles south on Interstate 19, the only interstate set up on the metric system still in the United States. Good luck to you figuring out how far you got to go to the next exit. But about 20 miles south on 19 past Tucson, you come to the Titan Missile Museum. The only one of its kind in the United States. Don't let anybody else fool you. They may have bought a missile silo location that was being sold off. Majority of them, like 99% of them outside of this one, there were cement was poured into them and they were completely closed down. The only one that's left is this one right here in the condition that when they finally closed it, they left it alone. And this is an extraordinary spot. I'm going to get back down there this year and retake the tour. But this was an absolute gem of a tour. The Titan II Missile Museum, 20 miles south of Tucson, Arizona, off of Interstate 19. And you're going to go down below the ground. They're going to show you the command center and all that. When this Titan II is in there, see, I put my cell phone on top of the glass that was on top. And as we were walking around, now when you go in there, you go about 6 floors down, so you're down in the middle there where you can see the Titan II from below. But when you come on out top, over the top of this thing is some glass, and I set my cell phone down and took the picture, and that's the picture that came out. It was absolutely phenomenal picture. And this is an actual Titan II. Of course, the warhead isn't active as in on here. But how much power did this bad boy pack? Well, let me tell you how much power this bad boy packed, okay? The guy said if you loaded a train and you had the engine right there at the Titan II site, and then you started adding railroad cars to the back of it, and then in each one of those railroad cars, you packed it with dynamite. From top to bottom, you jammed each one of the railroad cars with dynamite. That train would stretch from that Titan II missile location all the way up into Canada, folks. That's how long, and each one of those cars would be packed full of TNT. That's how much power was in this Titan II missile that was on standby from 1963 to 1987. This place is absolutely amazing. You want to learn about the Cold War history, you want to check out the Titan II Missile Museum. Don't miss out on that. That place was great. The people there were like, please. They were begging people to post this stuff to their social media platforms, folks, because they want to get the word out. They're not that busy out there. And you don't even know if that place closed down, all they had to take off is the antennas from the top. And of course, you would never know that Titan II was located underneath the ground like that. Absolutely phenomenal. Take the kids, take the family, people coming in from out of town. Check out the Titan II Missile Museum. Let's stay in the Cold War era, right? Stay in the Cold War era. And we got these. People think that these are for airplanes. Although I've seen those in Casa Grande, they're for airplanes. No, they're 100% not for airplanes. In 1959, the United States government started a program. And it's a very unique name for the day and age that we have been living in, especially the last 2 years. And I hate to even say the word, but the program was called the Corona. That's right. I said the Corona Spy Satellite Program. Started in 1959. This looks like a Maltese cross, doesn't it? I'm right standing down there in the middle of that shot. That looks like a Maltese cross. They placed in the 16 by 16 square mile area in Casa Grande, Arizona. In 1960, they started placing these down, and they went all the way out to 1967, almost when the program stopped. The program stopped somewhere around 1970, I believe, but it was top secret all the way into the early 1980s. Nobody had a clue about the Corona Spy Satellite Program. So they launched 144 satellites into space, but they had to figure out how they could calibrate the camera on those 144 spy satellites. So what they did, again, is a 16 by 16 mile grid. These are exactly 1 mile apart in the desert. They placed 2 272 of these Maltese-looking crosses on the ground. 272 of them from 1960 to 1967. And that is somehow, some way, if you look at this picture on your left, there's a manhole cover. It has a cover and it has like 5 pieces of rebar coming out of the manhole cover. Somebody somewhere said that is the way they beamed something to that, and that's how it calibrated. I can't be 100% sure on that, but there are about 25 or 30 of these that are still in just precise. And you'll notice over to the side, you can see the road, and that is not but maybe 20 yards at the most off the road. And you cannot see this one from the road. It is so perfectly in the ground that you actually had to pull off and walk right up to it in order to see it. It is unbelievable. So again, from 1960 to 1967, they placed 272 of these Maltese-looking crosses throughout Casa Grande. They during the Cold War, for the 144 spy satellites they sent up to space. These are the way they calibrated them. They're still in the desert today. I have maps of these things. I have geolocations on these things. It is a pretty awesome piece of Cold War history right here in Arizona. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's pull this one up. Another one of my favorite spots. What is this? This is on top of Post and Butte. If you ever driven down Hunt Highway going to State Route 79, right there where it ends, you turn right and you're going into historic downtown Florence, Arizona. And if you listen to me, that is my most top 2 favorite spot to visit in the state. We do tours there Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. when we have them scheduled. We do 90-minute walking tours. Schedule yours today, folks. I'll put my email up. 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Minimum of 2 people have to go on these. I'll send you what they cost. But this is on top. We will start one of the tours, tour number 2. So we do 2 different tours. They cost 2 different prices. People may ask why 2 different prices. We'll climb up this if you are able. The Butte isn't really tough to climb up. It'll take us about 15, 16 minutes. And right here in 1925, a body was exhumed from Phoenix and put under this pyramid on top of this butte. And it's called Poston Butte because Charles DeBrill Poston is buried underneath this pyramid. Again, he passed away in 1902. His body was exhumed on his 100th birthday. He was born in Kentucky in 1825, and it was put up here on top of Poston Butte, outlooking over historic Florence, Arizona, in 1925 by I believe the 7-time governor of Arizona, Governor Hunt, and he presided over the ceremony of the reburial of Charles DeBrill Poston, who they call the father of Arizona, and you'll learn all about that during the tour. A lot of people that I've met up there, like there are people that are from Florence, lived in Florence the last 20 years, they thinking that he was the founder of Florence, which is 100% wrong. Thinking that his body was moved from there to the Phoenix Pioneer Cemetery, which is wrong. It's actually the opposite. It is amazing how many people do not know about Charles DeBrill Poston. I've been asked to speak in Florence on Mr. Poston, because this pyramid is right there, right outside historic Florence, and a lot of people do not understand it or why it's there. So if you book that tour, then we'll start up there. We'll learn all about this guy. Again, he was born in Kentucky in 1825. He passes away in Phoenix in 1902, I believe. Body exhumed, brought to the top of this in 1925. It's called the Father of Arizona because he played a vital role in having Arizona become a separate territory from New Mexico, splitting it to become the territory of Arizona in, I believe it was February the 24th of 1863, signed by President Abraham Lincoln at the time during the Civil War. So this is Poston Butte. If you've been going up and down Hunt Highway, you've seen this before. And that is what it is. Let's talk about another favorite spot of mine. Who are these guys? These guys are called the Blue Angels. I've seen them twice now in the last couple of years. Where are they at? Let's see, do I have any other pictures up here? No, I do not. I don't think I do. I have so many pictures of this place, but I only put this one up here. And that's good because I want to keep rolling through this stuff. This is Mesa Gateway Airport, folks. It is a hidden gem. next to the Barrio Brewery. Look up the Barrio Brewery and Restaurant. It's a 30 yards away from this site, and the Barrio Brewery has a beautiful window that looks right onto the flight line, but right outside of it has pavilion with picnic tables, and then it has other places where you can sit. It's got a little hill you can see over the fence. That's why you can get a great shot with no fence line in front of you. But not too long ago, the Blue Angels landed there twice to refuel coming back from California going to Florida. And you just never know. Now, the other day, we had 4 F-18s out there. Normally, we have naval training jets and Air Force training jets. That's 80% of the time. We had a KC-35 Air Force refueler out there yesterday, which is the first time in 7+ years I've ever seen any kind of aircraft like that landing there. We had a KC-130 loading up 2 Apache helicopters the other day where we had 140, and we had 49,000 people on the TikTok live while it was out there. The Mesa Gateway Airport, folks, look up the Barrio Brewing and get out there, bring the kids, bring people from out of town. There's always something on that flight line. And if you live in Queen Creek or the Gilbert area, anywhere within 5 or 6 miles of that flight path of all those jets that are coming in, you know, if you hear a lot of noise, there's something going on at this very location at Mesa Gateway. So check it out. Great place to bring the kids. Great way to spend the day. Going to take a quick, short break, folks. Don't go away. Please don't go away.
Did you know here at the Tucson Train Depot, there is a statue of Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp? It actually marks the spot where Wyatt Earp killed Frank Stillwell on the 20th of March of 1882. Let's go check it out. All right, we're going to drive down this road right here to a pioneer cemetery where the first common law wife of Wyatt Earp is buried. Let's go check it out.
This is the final resting place of Larcena Pennington Page. She was abducted by Tano Apaches in 1860. Unable to keep up with her captive, she was stabbed 18 times and left for dead. She then crawled through the desert for more than 16 days before finding help and being rescued. The first thing she asked for was a chew of tobacco. On August 26, 1990, 78 years after the death of the first sheriff of Cochise County and one of Tombstone's most colorful pioneers, a marker was placed recognizing the final resting place of Sheriff John Behan. This is the final resting place of Johnny Ringo. It is still a mystery today. Did Johnny Ringo take his own life July 13th, 1882, or was he murdered? The town of Adamsville was founded by Charles S. Adams in 1866. By 1870, the town had 400 residents. Adamsville had a reputation as one of the wildest, toughest towns in the Arizona Territory. Charles Adams died in the Wickenburg Massacre in 1871. This is the grave of William Claiborne. He was shot and killed by buckskin Frank Leslie November 14th, 1882. Claiborne's last words, Frank Leslie killed Johnny Ringo. I saw him do it. The Tewksbury-Graham feud was the bloodiest feud in U.S. history. It came to a violent end with the 1892 murder of Tom Graham, the last survivor of his family involved in the feud. He was ambushed by Edwin Tewksbury in Tempe, Arizona. This is the final resting place of Edwin Tewksbury.
I am standing on a historical spot right here on the Crosscut Canal in Scottsdale, Arizona. On the 23rd of December, 1944, 25 German POWs escaped. Where did they come out of the tunnel at? They came out of the tunnel right here.
This bar is one of the oldest in the West, built in 1861. It was loaded onto a cargo ship to a boat ride around South America to the San Francisco Bay. It was then loaded onto a wagon pulled by 20 mule teams to Virginia City, Nevada. It stayed there during the Silver Boom. The bar was then sold to a saloon in Jerome during the 1880s. The bar is now located at the Pioneer Living History Museum. All right, had to take a quick break. Had to go downstairs for something. So we're going on to part two here. If you're just joining us, we're just going through, I think we went through about 8 locations throughout the state that I've been to, some of my favorite spots. Before it gets too hot for some people, I love the summer here, but these were some of the locations. We talked about spring training, some hidden secrets in spring training. I've been going and knowing people working there for 10 plus years. So we had some good tips and tricks to spring training. We talked about the Titan Missile Museum, 20 miles south of Tucson, Arizona. Absolutely phenomenal place to take the family and friends and learn about the Cold War. Sticking with the Cold War, we talked about the Corona Spy satellite program and the 272 markers that were laid in Casa Grande, Arizona from 1959 to 1967. 272 Maltese-looking crosses were placed around Casa Grande, and they still exist there today. A few of them haven't been taken away, but that program was secret into the 1980s. Let's see, what else did we talk about? We talked about the POW Escape Tunnel in Scottsdale, Arizona, where on the 23rd of December of 1944, 25 German POWs escaped Camp Papago, making the largest POW escape on American soil during World War II, when there were over 700 POW camps throughout the United States. We talked about a few other things, but let's find something else to talk about here. If you want to schedule tours, folks, this is where you do it at deanb7010@gmail.com. Let's go find some graphics in here and see where we talked about Charles DeBrill Poston. We talked about Poston Butte, the father of Arizona. We talked about Mesa Gateway Airport, which is absolutely phenomenal for military aircraft. Go and check that out. If you ever head out to Wilcox, you won't want to miss the Wilcox City Cemetery. A lot of people go out there just to visit the downtown Wilcox area, which is great. But you'll miss the only Earp brother to be buried in the state of Arizona. The only Earp brother who died in 1900 in a saloon in Wilcox, Arizona. He was shot. And if you go to the city cemetery, you will find this. The grave of Warren Baxter Earp, 1855 to 1900, the youngest of the Earp brothers. You have, what do you have here? You have James Earp, Virgil Earp, Wyatt Earp, Morgan Earp, and you got Warren Earp. And Warren was involved in Wyatt Earp's vendetta ride with people like Doc Holliday and everybody who are going after the cowboy gang after the gunfight at the OK Corral. It's where they got his name, Frank Stillwell, shot at the Tucson train depot in March, I believe March 23rd of 1882. But buried in the Wilcox Pioneer Cemetery, way in the back. It looks like you're walking on the beaches of Florida there, because this area used to be underwater. If you look at it from a Google map, it'll blow your mind. It looks like a beach. And that cemetery is one of the most unique cemeteries I have ever visited. And you will check out in the very back the gravesite of Warren Baxter Earp, 1855-1900, the youngest of the Earp brothers, buried in Wilcox. All right. For those of you that live around the Phoenix area, if you live around the Phoenix area, the Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza is one of the best plazas that you're going to see in the United States of America. I was stationed for 3 years in Northern Virginia in Washington, D.C. I know what great museums and memorials look like, folks. This one in front of the state capitol in downtown Phoenix is absolutely top 5, top 4 I've ever seen in the United States. The Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza. This was actually an anchor from the USS Arizona. This was brought up from the Arizona. This was shipped. This thing weighs tons. I believe it was made somewhere in Pennsylvania. The other one is in Pearl Harbor. So you have this one and the one that's in Pearl Harbor. You have one of the guns that were on the USS Arizona. It was taken off a few months prior to December 7th, 1944 for repairs. So one of the guns is there. It is an unbelievable memorial. You have a phenomenal Vietnam War memorial, Korean War, World War I, World War II. You have certain divisions in World War II that have monuments there, Medal of Honor winners. This place is really, truly amazing. You got to check it out. A lot of people live in Phoenix, and I have found out around Phoenix, I shouldn't say that. They live in the Gilbert, Mesa, Tempe, Scottsdale area, have never been down to the state capitol area, have never even seen the Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza area. This place is absolutely phenomenal. Again, top 4 best memorials I've ever seen in the United States. Check out the Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza. Unbelievable historical location right here. The bloodiest feud in U.S. history, not just Southwest history, but U.S. history, happened here in the state of Arizona. It was called one of two things, folks. The Pleasant Valley War, because it took place in Pleasant Valley, which is today's Young, Arizona. Or it was called the Tewksbury Graham Feud. All right. This cabin belonged to John Tewksbury. Built in 1880, folks. This is the most unique cabin, one of the most unique cabins that you're ever going to see, ever, I believe. Now, I'll say that there are no windows in this cabin, and somebody will point to what you can see right there that looks like a door, maybe. That is not. This cabin was moved from Pleasant Valley to northern Phoenix in the Pioneer Museum, where they have about 15 of these historic log cabins from governors to the state and everything. But this John Tewksbury cabin, wow, what history. This cabin was involved in the Battle of Big Dry Wash. So if you've never heard of the Battle of Big Dry Wash or the unbelievable Apache Scout, not Apache Scout, I should take that back. During the Apache Wars, one of the best scouts in U.S. history was a guy named Al Sieber. Al Sieber, look him up. He fought in the Battle of Big Dry Wash. This house was along the river. This house was raided by Apaches not once but twice. Once when somebody was inside, when the Tewksburys were living there and they had to fight them off. And once when they just ransacked the whole thing because nobody was home. This cabin here is truly a unbelievable piece of Arizona history that was saved during the time of the Pleasant Valley War. I have done numerous TikToks, numerous YouTube videos on the Pleasant Valley War, the Tewksbury Graham Feud, so check it out. But you will notice that thing that looks like a door on the left, it's not. It's just a hole that was put into it after it was moved to be able to take things in and out. They didn't use that front door area. But you'll notice next to the door, there's a little like square. There are two of those squares on each of the four sides of this cabin, and those are gun ports. And they weren't anything other than to be able to stick a rifle out of and start shooting. This was an unbelievably fortified 1880s cabin in Pleasant Valley built by John Tewksbury. Some unbelievable things happened during the Tewksbury Graham Feud in this cabin, especially in 1887. I'm not going to go on any farther because this is just check out the Arizona Pioneer Museum up around Anthem, Arizona. This cabin is there. It's one of the only reasons I go to this location. I've been there 3 times. Unbelievable piece of history. You don't want to miss it, folks. This in downtown Phoenix off of Jefferson, right down the street from the Arizona State Capitol and what we just talked about, the Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza, is the Pioneer and Military Memorial Park. It is 7 separate cemeteries that now fall under one umbrella, and the city of Phoenix is in charge of it. 7 separate cemeteries from the time that before Phoenix was established in the 1880s. These cemeteries were set up. In the 1920s and 30s, when they were no longer in use, they became in disarray, and the town decided they needed to do something about them. They made the 7 separate cemeteries one Okay, a road actually divides one from the other, and it's open on Thursdays, folks. It's open on Thursdays. You want me to give you a tour of this cemetery? Get it with me at deanb7010@gmail.com. We'll see about doing that. This cemetery is pretty unbelievable, but what grave am I at right here? This is the grave of Jacob Waltz, 1808 to 1808 to 1891. This is the Lost Dutchman, Jacob Waltz's gravesite, folks. The Lost Dutchman, all that gold that's buried up in their superstition mountains that everybody thinks that they're going to find someday. Is it real? Is it fake? We don't know, but man, the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, for 20 years have been over here checking out the mysterious gold of Jacob Waltz, who passed away in 1891. And on top of that, 7,000, and I'm going to repeat that number, 7,000 people annually go up into the Superstition Mountains to try to find that gold, folks. It is pretty amazing. So this is the final resting place in the Pioneer and Military Memorial Park in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, just down the street from the state capitol and the Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza. This grave is there of Jacob Waltz, 1808 to 1891, the famous Lost Dutchman. Let's talk about this dress jacket right here. So many people have missed it. I posted it on TikTok. They're like, you got to be kidding me. I got to go back. What are you looking at right here? You're looking at Doc Holliday's. That's right. I said it. Doc Holliday's dress jacket. It was purchased from a Wells Fargo museum. And let me say that one more time because a lot of people listen to that TikTok wrong. It was purchased at the sale of the Wells Fargo Museum in Tombstone, Arizona. Who purchased it? I say it in the video, but a lot of people still think it's in Tombstone, and where can they see it? It was purchased by the Goldfield Ghost Town. I'll say it one more time. It was purchased by the Goldfield Ghost Town in Apache Junction. So if you go to the museum, a lot of people refuse to pay the $7 whole it costs to walk through that museum. Well, when you pay the $7 so they can keep the museum up and running, and it's totally worth it, before you exit that museum, on the floor is this unbelievable dress jacket of none other than the outlaw, Doc Holliday. The authenticity and everything is above it, how they purchased it, who they purchased it through, how the authenticity is. This is it, folks. It's been there since I've lived in Arizona the last 10 years. It was purchased, again, from Tombstone to the Goldfield Ghost Town in Apache Junction. Pay the $7, go around and see it. It's worth the $7 to take a picture and see the dress jacket of Doc Holliday. All right, what do we got going on here? We got the actual telescope. Now, it's called something else, but I'm going to call it a telescope because I don't know the scientific name for this. But there I am standing looking at it. This is the telescope that discovered the planet, and I still say it's a planet, no matter what anybody else says. This is the telescope up in Flagstaff, Arizona, at the Lowell Observatory that discovered Pluto. That's it right there. It's pretty cool. The complexity of the way that they found that they search for planets by taking pictures and looking through these discs to see if something is a planet or not is absolutely amazing. It amazed me more than the fact that I was standing at the exact location and looking through the same telescope as the gentleman who discovered Pluto at the Lowell Observatory. So that observatory is absolutely amazing. They have an outside, and I do have another picture to put up on that. Here's a shot. This one here is one they have set up during the day. You look at this telescope, you look right at the sun. How often can you take a telescope with all the lenses and stuff that it's got, of course, to protect your retinas and everything, but you look directly at the bright, beautiful Arizona sun through this phenomenal telescope, and you can see like the images of the top of the sun. It is absolutely, absolutely amazing. Get out to Lowell Observatory. Don't miss it, especially if you live in this great state, the 48th state. Get up to Lowell Observatory. They have a whole platform at night of telescopes that will just, it is absolutely amazing. Get there on a clear night, not a night that's snowing or raining or overcast. And it costs like $24 or $25 for the day. And they have lectures throughout the day. Folks, this is where they went. You're going to go up there and you're going to see the telescope where they mapped out the Sea of Tranquility. They mapped out the moon. Before Neil and Buzz landed on the moon in 1969, they mapped out the moon, and all 12 astronauts who trained were up at Lowell Observatory looking through these amazing telescopes and these maps and mapping out the location where they were going to land on the moon. It is pretty phenomenal. The Clark Telescope is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It is like something you would see out of the movies where they open up the roof and that you look through it and the telescope is like a couple stories tall, and you can get down there, and at night they have it opened and you can look light years. They'll show you a galaxy that's 4 or 5 light years away through the historic Clark Telescope, and that telescope helped map out the 1969 moon landing of Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. An amazing location. Don't miss it in Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't drive by that. Get up there, check it out, and look through the telescope and look right at the sun. What is that, folks? What is that right there? That is Beshbagawa. Beshbagawa in Globe, Arizona. One of the best put together ruins that you'll see in the state of Arizona. In the city of Globe owns this. It is unbelievable. Again, a lot of people don't know about it. If you live in Globe, you probably know about it. But this is Beshbagawa from the air, a drone shot. This place is absolutely phenomenal. Get out there and check it out if you haven't got a chance. Again, Beshbagawa. Now this This right here is one of my favorite locations of all time in the last 10 years here in the state of Arizona. We've traveled in the last 4.5 years, 50,000 plus miles, probably a little closer to 51,000 miles just in the state, just videoing for TikTok and YouTube. And this spot right here, one of my favorite all-time spots. The Petroglyph Wall that you're looking at is the best, I think, hands down in the state by far. And if you know anything better in the state of Arizona, please send it to me at deanb7010@gmail.com. This is just a little bit. If you look hard enough, behind my head to the left is a wall that looks just like that. And it keeps going down there, and it's from top to bottom. This is Sears Point. They call it Sears Point. And the day that I was out there and the day that we saw this was just magnificent. This is probably close to 2.5 years ago was the last time I was out to Sears Point. This place is absolutely phenomenal. Get out there, check it out. I do not have another picture. I should have another picture of this, but I do not. The place is phenomenal. It really is. I can't say enough. I can't say enough about it. Sears Point. All right, let's check out another spot here. We have gone through at least 10 spots, some of my favorite locations throughout Arizona. Haven't done this in a while. We're an hour in. Let's see how much farther we go. Man, we talked about a lot of spots. Let's go to another one of my favorites that most people have no clue about. Let's change. What are we looking at right here, folks? This is definitely, again, falls into my, I've said this before, there are a few pioneer cemeteries that fall in my top 5. A few of the places that we looked at so far today fell in my top 5. This is fallen into my top 3. Could be top 2 in the state of Arizona. This place, we just talked about the little observatory and how they mapped out the moon. Well, this place here, all 12 astronauts, because Apollo 13 didn't make it. Tom Hanks and them didn't make it to the moon. So all 12 astronauts that trained in this location, trained in this location from 1969 to 1972 was the last moon landing, I believe. 1972, could be wrong on that. This is Crater Field number 1 out at Cinder Lake Crater Field. There were 2 crater fields, but this is the first one they created. And using that Clark telescope at the Lowell Observatory, they made an area of the Cinder Lake area right next to the National Monument there, Sunset Crater National Monument. You can see the volcano at Sunset Crater from this location. It's a 1.5 mile hike through 4 to 6 inch cinders to get to this location. That's why it's so well preserved. And they also, NASA and the park system put up a fence around it so off-roading vehicles wouldn't ruin site number 1 like they ruined site number 2. But this is truly unbelievable. It's a one of a kind. They did have them in California. They're not in California anymore, these crater fields. This crater field was set up to look exactly like, folks, the Sea of Tranquility for the 1969 lunar landing. Think about it. Only place in the world that you'll see something like this is 20 miles north of Flagstaff at Cinder Lake in Crater Field number 1. You'll have to make a nice hike into it, but it's beautiful out there. And these craters exist. This is one of the largest one. You'll see before it, up on top of it, is a smaller one. I wish I could show you a picture of me down there to show you how big that small one actually is and how big this one is. But if you find it on Google Maps today and you know where you're looking, look at the Sea of Tranquility and then go back over and look at this. So many of these 143 craters to make up the Sea of Tranquility still exist in perfect condition out there at Cinder Lake. This is top 2. I'm going to put this in the top 2 locations that I've gotten to visit, and I've been there 3 or 4 times now. We did tours on this place last year. Unbelievable. Here's what I was looking for. This is the sign that you see when you get out there. Again, top 2 place. Let me bring this thing closer. I can barely read this off of this. But astronaut training ground during the late 1960s and early 1970s. The area behind the fence was used to train astronauts for the Apollo space program. Craters were blasted out with explosions and rocks brought to the, I'm not kidding, my eyes are so bad I have a problem reading that back, but this place, it says there right in the bottom of it, this is the only remaining astronaut training area. Please help us protect this important part of American history, the U.S. Park System and NASA. If anyone wants to schedule a tour with me, and folks, I'm going to just say it off the bat so nobody's caught by surprise. It wouldn't be cheap to do it because it's about a 3.5 hour drive from Gilbert, Arizona. No, yeah, maybe a little bit more than 3.5 hours. And then we're looking at hiking a little over a mile and a half in cinders that are 4 to 6 inches deep every time you step. And then, so that's a 3-mile round trip of a hike. But this place is absolutely outstanding. It is an unbelievable hidden gem in the state. I'm going to put it in my top 2 of the over 200 and plus locations that I've been in 4.5 years of traveling 51,000 miles in this state. This one is just amazing. And again, it is the only remaining astronaut training area. So those who say that there's still some left in places like Texas or Florida or California, I'll get a few people from California. This place was set up to look like the Sea of Tranquility. It still looks like the Sea of Tranquility, and you'll step where the 12 men who stepped on the moon from 69 to 72, those Apollo missions stepped, and it's pretty phenomenal. It truly is pretty phenomenal. All right, we've gone through like 14 places so far. We've been going now for an hour and 15 minutes. We'll do a couple more and we'll call it a night, folks. We'll call it a day or an afternoon, I guess. Nothing important. Welcome. And who else we got here? I think we had, let me just make sure here. Hike with Mike, good to see you. Bar Lee. Let's see here. Steed262 has been on here. Appreciate everybody who's stuck around the hour and 15 minutes. We're just talking about some of my favorite places. I haven't done this in a while. And this one is a new favorite place because it was only a little over 30 days ago that I discovered it reading a history book on some of the Wyatt Earp stuff. And we're going to have a show on Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday that's going to bust a lot of bubbles out there. Because I have done some digging, some reading by historians of Doc Holliday, of Wyatt Earp, of Johnny Ringo, of all the bad boys of Tombstone, Arizona. And boy, the fiction stories that are out there, fact from fiction, we're going to cover in an episode of the Arizona Timeless Tours live show. It's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers out there. It's gonna get people a little bit uncomfortable who want to believe in two major motion pictures, but we're gonna do it. All right, so this place right here, this is at the Tucson train depot. It's a statue. If you're looking at it, the gun pointed down, that's a statue of Doc Holliday himself, and the left with the gun pointing up is none other than the great Wyatt Earp, right? This is very close. It's in right in front of it because they can't put the statue on the railroad tracks. So adjacent to it, about 40 yards away, is where they found the body of Frank Stillwell. And Frank Stillwell's body was supposed to be ripped with so many bullets that the sheriff of Tombstone had never seen that many. It wasn't the sheriff of Tombstone. Was then going to be Cochise County Sheriff, who went up there to get the body of Frank Stillwell and to check it out. Said he ain't never seen a body riddled with so many bullets. We see this in the movie Wyatt Earp and Tombstone, where Wyatt says, tell your friends I'm coming and blank is coming with him. This is supposed to be the exact location right across the tracks from this very statue is where Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp laid down Frank Stillwell in March of 1820. Pretty interesting location. If you get out there, a lot of people in Tucson did not even know this statue existed. Get out there, check it out. The statues of Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp. The map is there that was drawn by Wyatt Earp later on in his life. Again, we're going to do true stories on Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo and all the false information that's been put out on these guys. But that's for another time. One of the last areas I'll leave you with before we say goodnight, folks, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, because of the time change. Mary Kay Cummings, 1850 to 1940, lived a long life. Who was Mary Kay Cummings? This is a.k.a. Big Nose Kate, who we would call the common law wife of none other than the outlaw Doc Holliday. That's right. So all the movies that have Big Nose Kate, this is the real Big Nose Kate. This is where she's buried in Prescott, Arizona, at the Arizona Pioneers Home Cemetery. When I was out there checking this grave out about a month and a half ago, it was freezing cold up in Prescott the day I got up there. The gentleman that's over this cemetery was amazed. I had a good about 20-minute talk with him, asking him some other historical locations in Prescott that I needed to go and check out. He was amazed that people would come out to what he said, this prostitute's grave site, and leave all these knickknacks and just gloss over the rest of the pioneers that were buried at the cemetery. And I'm like, yeah, because she's Big Nose Kate, and 2 major motion pictures made her life out to be something unbelievably spectacular, and everybody knows her name. Just like Celia Blaylock, Wyatt Earp's first common law wife, that's buried in the Tonto National Forest and the Pinal in the Pinal Cemetery just outside of Pinal City at the time, and is now Superior, Arizona. Maddie Blaylock Earp's gravesite. Again, we know what Maddie Blaylock Earp did for a career, and everybody wants to go out there and put this unbelievable monument to Maddie Blaylock up, and kind of forget the other pioneers that were in Pinal City at the time. So that's just what happens. We'll cover that in another episode. But folks, I think that's where we're going to end it. Let's pop this up here. This is the new Arizona Timeless Tourist logo. This is the older one right here. So just a few places we talked about today. We talked about Sears Point, which I believe is the best petroglyph wall in the state. We talked about the Tewksbury Graham cabin that you can go see. It's one of the most extraordinary cabins, if not in the United States, in the state of Arizona. Here is the final resting place of Johnny Ringo, July 13th, 1882. We did not talk about this, but this is the final resting place of John Behan, the sheriff of Tombstone, Arizona, during the time of the OK Corral. We talked about the Corona spy satellite targets in the Casa Grande Desert. We talked about the escape tunnel, where 25 German POWs escaped on 23 December 1944 on the Crosscut Canal in Scottsdale, Arizona. We talked about the Titan II Missile Museum. We talked about this unbelievable area that looks like the Sea of Tranquility out at Cinder Lake Crater Field that was established from 1967 to 1968, and all the astronauts trained in this location. We talked about Charles DeBrill Poston in this pyramid on top of Poston Butte. You can schedule tours of the historic Florence, Arizona. We will talk about that. We covered this that's in the Goldfield Ghost Town. That's Doc Holliday's dress coat. It's worth a $7 price of admission in the Goldfield Ghost Town Museum. Tell them the Arizona Timeless Tourist sent you. We talked about the youngest Earp brother, Warren Baxter, 1855-1900. His grave is in the city cemetery in Wilcox, Arizona. Go check it out. We talked about the gravesite of Jacob Waltz, the lost Dutchman who passed away in 1891. He is buried in the Pioneer and Military Memorial Park in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, right off of Jefferson, folks. Check it out. It's 7 historic pioneer cemeteries under one umbrella of the city of Phoenix. We talked about the hidden things and unbelievable things you can do at spring training. I hope you didn't miss it. If you did, rewind like you did back in the 80s and go back to when I talked about the secrets to spring training baseball. Baseball is back, folks. We talked about the Wesley Bowlin Memorial Plaza, top 3 memorial plazas in the United States, according to the Arizona Timeless Tourist, and I have lived up in Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C. I was stationed for 3 years. We talked about the Lowell Observatory. This is the telescope that they found Pluto with. You can check out. This is the telescope you can look directly into the sun at. Check it out. Folks, we got about 167,000 followers on TikTok, over 50 million views. If you're looking to start a TikTok channel, need some help, we do 20-minute consultations for $50. You just get with me at deanb7010@gmail.com. On top of the tours that we give of the historic Pioneer Cemetery and Globe, and the 7 days a week, 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., sign up at my email, deanb7010@gmail.com. Minimum of 2 people is needed. We'll take a 90-minute walking tour of beautiful, unbelievable, historic Florence, Arizona. You won't be disappointed. I guarantee it. Absolutely guarantee it. Until next time, folks, take care of yourselves.